Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Market Mama's Trading Psychology Podcast. My name is Kendra and I have Becky here with me. And we have been day trading now for a little over 3 years. Around a year ago, we decided to start this podcast to just really share our experience in real time as we are developing traders. And it's been quite the journey. Today, we're super excited to bring on another trader for you all. His name is Isaac, and we're going to just get deep into his trading journey.
So we want to know all about you, Isaac. We love talking to other traders. So tell us a little bit more. Thank you for coming on with us. Also, this is a brave move, but it's kind of fun. Like, honestly, it's like not hard. We're just going to chat and share it. So please tell us a little bit about like when you got into trading, what style you started in trading, and if you knew anyone that brought you into it or how you even heard of it.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So first off, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here and share, my trading journey. And so I got into day trading. I kind of stumbled upon it. So for work, I was taking this course out in Ventura, and it was a shooting course because that's a skill that I need for work. And I was networking amongst the guys there, and I ended up following one of the guys on Instagram. And so when I viewed his page, I saw that he was like a multimillionaire investor in the stock market, and he would make like thousands of dollars in a short amount of time. And when I saw that, I was just blown away. And like, I was intrigued. I was like, how is this even possible? Like, I didn't know anything about it. And so he was offering this course, and it was online. And before, I would be like, kind of, if I ever see online courses, I was kind of skeptical because, of scams and stuff. But I met this person, I knew he was real. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to invest in myself to learn something. And from there, I that's where I stumbled across day trading, and I took the course and I started to learn how to day trade. That's how I came across it. But I didn't really know anything about day trading before that. I just knew about like long-term stocks, but I thought you had to have like a large amount of capital for that to make actually like a good percentage. But when I found out about day trading in the stock market, like options, I was like, wow, you could make a big return. And so that's when my journey started to begin.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. We can totally resonate with that as well. I mean, one of the reasons why we want to have this podcast too is just to spread the awareness, because most people think that it's not as accessible as it is, right? That we just average people who had no prior experience. Becky and I didn't know anyone else who day traded or that this was even a thing, really. So that's super cool that you just took that leap of faith, right? And chose to invest in yourself. It was very similar for me too. I was kind of like, oh, I'm just going to do this thing. I mean, why not? And I'm so glad I did. Tell us more about, you found that educational course, and then what was it like when you were building your edge?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I saw that he was making a lot of money, and I was like, if he can do that, then so can I. So I started to study the material, and it took me everything was foreign to me. So it took me about like a month to actually understand, like what a candlestick means, if you use indicators, what they mean, like support and resistance, and I was learning what everything meant. So I was like, okay, I was taking notes, studying the material, and that was in February of 2023. And then the next month after, in March, that's when I actually started executing trades. And so I focused on options, and I trade SPY, which is the S&P 500, and I do zero DTE trades. And so it's like high risk but high reward. And yeah, so that's kind of like how I started. Pretty much my edge really just came from the more chart time that I got, the better that I became, because it wasn't always like easy.
I feel like that's such a honest but simple explanation for how you get good at trading is like pick an instrument, pick a style, options, futures, swinging, whatever, and then just do it and get experience, because then you learn what works and what doesn't. And like there's no substitute for that. Like the years and the note taking and the trades executed, that kind of is like, I think it's the core of everyone when we're like, how did you get good? And they're just like time on the charts and learning it. And
yeah, absolutely.
I think you talking about zero DTE, SPY, options, it's really kind of a similar system to what we trade. I mean, right now, Kendra trades in NASDAQ and I'm trading the Dow, but we both, our larger part of our trading history has been in the S&P 500. So it's similar. It's like where that that indice is moving that day, and you try and get in at support and out at resistance, and similar choices, similar executions.
Yeah, exactly. So like I keep it simple, I do what works for me, and I kind of what I do is like if I see a breakout trend like in one direction, normally it retraces back like to like the 90 EMA. I use like the 90 EMA, the 20 EMA, and the 50 EMA. So like normally it'll retrace back to that, and so like I like catching like rebounds, or like a pullback. So that's kind of where I find my edge. But at the same time, like I use risk management, because I don't go into a trade thinking like of how much money I can make. I always calculate my risk and think of how much money I could possibly lose, because then that gives me like a upper hand whenever I get in and out of trades. And so that's kind of how I do it.
With your options, I have a question. Do you put a hard stop loss in when you place your order, like a bracket order, or do you just monitor it every candle move and then you know where you're going to pull it if it doesn't hold?
Yeah, great question. So in the beginning, when I first started, I would have a mental stop loss, but I wouldn't follow it. And it resulted in me losing like thousands of dollars, because I would make thousands, but then it defeats the purpose if you're actually not controlling your risk, because you can make X amount of money and in one trade you can lose it all if you're not following your risk management. So like nowadays I have a hard stop, and I already have a calculated like percentage of how much I'm willing to lose based on how much amount of equity that I'm trading with per trade. And so I said, and if it ends up getting stopped out, maybe I'll take another trade depending on what I see in the market. But most of the time, if I end up with a loss for the day, I'll call it a day, end it, and wait for it tomorrow. Because one thing I learned is like you can't overtrade, because that can really kill your account as well. And you want to be able to live to see another day. And tomorrow, there's always a new opportunity. So I try to stay level-headed and keep that in mind when trading, getting in and out of trades.
So you show some of your trading on your Instagram account, which is very brave. So I'm curious, like when you just chose to make that leap and how all of your decision making and your trading, your edge and stuff played into that. Because I would imagine that you might have wanted to have what you just outlined in place before you went kind of public with it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So like when I first started posting about day trading, like I went in with wanting to help other people, because I've always wanted to help people, and I was like, man, you don't know what you don't know. And so just having that heart to like help others, inspire others, motivate others, show them that, hey, day trading is a way. It's not the only way, but it's a way where you can make money. And so I was just started posting my trades, whether I took a win or a loss, because I wanted to be transparent and show like, hey, sometimes you will lose, that's part of the game. But and then there was a time where I thought like, okay, I don't want people to like think that like I'm showing off or like I'm bragging about my wins. But then I just remember like, no, because I didn't go in with that mindset. I went in for a good reason, and it's cool because you could also have like a trading community of people you network with, and you could meet, like good people. And that's a good thing because it keeps you like accountable. Traders relate to each other. So you see other traders and you're seeing what they go through, and you're like, okay, I'm not the only one that's struggling, or I'm not the only one that's losing. And in a specific trading day, like there's times where the market's choppy and people lose money, and you see other traders that they were in the same position as you. So like it keeps you like grounded, and it keeps you like having that perspective that you're not alone. And overall, I think it's a beneficial thing to do. You got to have like tough skin, because there's always going to be haters like, how you making that much money, or like, you're never going to make it, but whatever. But you just stay consistent and have the dedication and don't give up. And so I think it's a good thing.
I love that. I think, and I recently saw, I believe you are starting, to branch out and have your own mentorship program, right?
Yeah. I offer a mentorship program. I waited though, because I didn't want to be that person that taught someone how to day trade if I wasn't making money in the market, if I wasn't profitable, because I wouldn't feel right. So I actually waited till I actually became profitable and stood profitable. That's when I was like, you know what? I have my edge, I have my system, and I can actually help people how to make money. And so that's what I do. I've been doing this since like this year, and it's been good because I see them making money, and then it's rewarding because I impacted them, and then they could possibly impact others. And then also, like, it's a good feeling knowing that you actually taught someone how to make money where it could possibly like help their situation financially, for retirement, family, or if they have something to like do with that money, if they have goals, it can help them. So like I've always had a heart for helping people, and so yeah, that's what I've been doing, helping and just helping others succeed at day trading.
I love that. That's such a beautiful testimony of like paying it forward. Like you learned this amazing life-changing skill set and now you have the opportunity to share it with others. And I just admire everyone who takes their trading public and builds communities. And like you said, I know there's so many haters, right? But I really feel like, you'll find the right people will come to you, who are meant to. And it's just, yeah. So I'm super excited about that. And we're going to definitely have you give all your information before we wrap up the show so others can, get in contact with you. But let's dive a little deeper if you don't mind, because like you said earlier, day trading is extremely hard. And we're here for all the psychology hurdle of it for sure. That's what we like to really bring awareness to so people understand what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And so can you share a little bit about your biggest challenges, the biggest psychological hurdles that you faced, that you've had to manage, and maybe a period that you would have considered your lowest low?
Yeah, absolutely. So trading, you gotta have like the right mindset. You gotta have, it comes down to really the psychological part is like how you are as a person. Because when you learn how to trade, it really exposes different like things that you can improve on as a person. And so you gotta be able to like persevere and make changes to get better because that's gonna help you in your trading journey. And so like I would say like majority of trading is like psychological, and then like the rest of it is like actually knowing what you're doing. But one of the biggest hurdles for me was accepting my losses. So I'm competitive, so like I don't like losing. And when I would lose, I would be mad, like, man, I lost today. I'll feel discouraged. But I learned how to accept the losses. And that's what kind of kept me, in the game. And as far as like low points, there was a time where I blew 2 accounts in the beginning, and I was like, man, I was doing good. And then I lost all this money. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, do I really know what I'm doing, or like have I just been getting lucky? And it feel really discouraging because that's the hard money that I would work for, like, and I'll save and I'll invest it, and then I'll make money, but then lose it. And I was like, man, like I'll just feel so down, discouraged. But I knew, like, you know what? Like, one thing about me is that I never give up. If I'm gonna set my mind to something, like I'm gonna do it. And so there was a time where I ended up flipping 2 small accounts to over $10,000. And I was like, if I did it once, okay. If I did it twice, like, okay, maybe I'm onto something. And if I did it a third time, then that kind of solidified my trading abilities and skills. And so, but yeah, so like I would say that was kind of some low points and some like little things that I adapted to like get better. It was accepting like losses for me. That was kind of hard, and like having that risk management.
I think in the early stages of a trader, it hurts worse because I don't think you see it coming as hard as it's going to hit you like a freaking freight train, right?
Yeah.
But then also you're right. The accounts that you start with are self-funded. So that's from like your nest egg or your wages or whatever money you would have used for a trip that spring. Instead, you're investing in yourself and your trading education and paying market tuition. And so I think it stings so much harder versus if you build up an account and then it backslides a little bit and you have to rebuild. It's like within the cushion of your trading account. Or like Kendra and I, we use funded prop firm companies to fund our futures trading. Similar, I mean, you pay a fee for them and it sets you back on time, but it's not a paycheck that you just gave back. So that is a really good point about, when you're new and you're self-funding.
Yeah, it's tough because like I have a family, I have kids, I have my wife, and I felt like when I would lose, I would let them down, and so it was just tough, like mentally. You gotta have like a really strong mindset when you're day trading. Like, you see these people, they post their gains, and sometimes they don't post their losses. But the reality of it is that you're gonna lose, but you just gotta mitigate your losses, and you gotta have them be smaller than your wins. And I think that if you can do that, then you can make it in day trading, because at the end of the day, I think that everybody has the potential to day trade, but it's not for everyone, because it comes down to who you are, and like it's a you versus you battle. And so yeah, like, it's just my reason why I do this is like for my family. I want to get to that point where like I don't have to work my 9 to 5 no more. I could just solely like rely like on my financial freedom and like diverse my portfolio. But like day trading has made that way possible for me where I could achieve it faster, and that's what I want to do. I just want to, like have that freedom. I don't want to be a slave to work my whole life, and there's nothing wrong with that. If people want to work their whole lives, that's them. But, for me, I've always been that person that wants to achieve more and do better in my life, and especially for my family. That's the main reason why I do it for them. I want to give them everything that I didn't have, and I want to give them the best. And so that's kept me really focused and determined to get to where I'm at right now and where I'm heading.
That's a big why. It sounds like you have a very strong mindset. Any thoughts you have for us about habits or routines that you've cultivated that have helped create that mindset and strengthen you to help keep you in this game as long as you have, and fine tuning as well as you have?
Yeah, definitely. So like some routines that like I'll do, because so for me, I'm in the West Coast, so the market opens in the morning at 6:30, and so like typically I would, well, always I would wake up before 6:30. Like probably like an hour before. I'll drink water. I'll get my mind right. Maybe do a little workout, get my blood flowing, and then also like I'll pray. I'll pray because that helps me like with like if I'm in the trade, I won't feel anxiety or anything. Like I'll feel calm, and so like praying has helped me, and being disciplined, because like I said, it comes down to who you are and the qualities that you have. That carries on to your day trading abilities and skills. If you're not a disciplined person, if you like can't control your emotions, if you're just like a roller coaster up and down, and I get it, we're human, that will happen. But if you're not willing to actually improve yourself and get better, and if you keep making the same mistakes over and over, it's just really going to destroy you, And so that's kind of like my routine that I do before I day trade, and then I also do my pre-market analysis. So I'll see what happened overnight, and then I'll kind of get like a gauge of where the market's going based off of that. And then I'll look at economic data, the news. Do we have like high impact news coming out? Is there a Fed speaking or something like that? Because that moves the market. And so I always keep that in mind. Like, for instance, this morning we had news come out, so I waited to take a trade, and then I got into a position and made that money. So it just comes down to like, you have to prep before you get into it. You can't just wake up at 6:30, open up your computer or phone and start trading. You're not going to set yourself up for success. You want to prepare yourself mentally and go in focused with the right mindset, and that's going to keep you like going in a good direction. So that's something that I do before I trade.
I love that. What is that saying? It reminds me of that saying, it's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than have an opportunity and not be prepared. And I do want to backtrack a little bit also, because when you were talking about financial freedom and the reasons why you're doing this and your family, like it really just made me think of like, freedom of time. Like I know for Becky and I, like that's really what we're after. Like, yeah, I mean, the money's going to be great. We'll have access to more things and be able to help more, have more impact. But just to have that freedom of time, I know like I have a ton of projects and things that I want to, do. And this is just such a great avenue, to grant us that ability, just to open those doors for us. And then I also want to bring up how you mentioned about the discipline, right? And the risk management. And it's interesting to me how with trading, there's so many different avenues when it comes to being profitable, right? Like so many different strategies and styles. And like, you, I'm sure, have a totally different trading technique and style strategy than Becky and I do. And we've talked to so many other traders, and, you don't have to look far on YouTube to just see how many thousands, probably maybe more, there are to be profitable in the market. But when it comes down to the risk management you're talking about, that is so simple, right? Like that's so black and white. Like there's only so many ways that you can get creative with that. And when you do try to get creative, usually, you're breaking, the yeah. So I love how you really just talked about those hard lines, like those hard rules, and being honest with yourself and, running your system so you can be profitable, because that is really, really good advice you gave. And going into, the heart of this episode, what we really want to also talk about is advice, right? That you would give other traders, other potential individuals looking to want to get into trading. Just anything else you would want to share? Like, what would you tell yourself if you were to start this all over again?
Yeah, definitely. So, some advice that I like to give is that you can do it. If you set your mind to it and you actually put in the work, you actually like study and want to do better, like you can do it. I think trading, it can be for anybody can learn it, right? But as far as actually doing it, it takes a very like dedicated person who's like strong minded, because you got to have tough skin when it comes to trading. You're going to win some, lose some, but as long as you're able to adapt and get better, then I think like you're going to be just fine. And then also like maybe like do what you guys do, like you guys trade futures, so you're actually going to save your capital, because you could just pay like a monthly fee past some levels and then be on a funded account where you're going to keep majority of the money, just pay them no percentage. Not like me, like I went straight to options, so like it's high risk high reward, but I'm thankful that I did it, because with the right mindset, with the right discipline, you can really achieve what you want to achieve and beyond that, and so that's something that I would like to tell others is like, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yes. I love that, because the statistics are not amazing for day trading, because it's like 90% quit, right? But the barrier to entry for day trading is very low. You just need internet and like enough knowledge to be able to open an account somewhere, and you can start throwing money at the market like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And so everyone can dabble in it, and you can find Joe Blow on whatever platform you want and say, this dude says he makes money, I'm going to do what he does. And then that's where like it can be really rough for a little while, because maybe you don't find the right mentor, or you get roped into something that you are in over your head before you learn. But then there's a select few, that 5 to 10% that make it, that do the same thing. Let's be real. Like, I also thought I would make money fast, and the first guy I started learning from would teach me everything I needed, but none of those were the case. But then you like stick with it and you grind and you study and you hunt, and then like that's what brings you to the level of like starting to figure out the profitability and dialing in your risk management and learning how to leverage up and stuff with time. So I think your story is similar to most people who like have just been relentless and like been able to fine tune it enough to get there. Wherever there is, it's where you finally break through to your wins are bigger than your losses. It's such a beautiful place. It's not the end, of course, right?
No, definitely, because if you're not focused, you can possibly lose the money again, if you go back to your bad habits, so you can't do that. And then also like, what I wanted to say is that for me, I'm always a student, like I'm always willing to learn, get better, adapt. I don't think that I know it all. I'm always willing to just get better, but at the same time, I keep it simple. Like what works for me works for me, and if it's working, then I'm gonna keep doing it. I may make some slight adjustments, but I'm gonna keep doing what works. And my strategy I have is really simple. Like I use indicators, I use support and resistance, I use the EMAs, and then I will see like whatever like the major stocks are doing, like Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta. I'll see what their trend. So that helps me whenever I get in the trade, for like when I trade SPY, in options.
Nice, good tips.
Really good tips. I love how you dialed in your process and you clearly trust it, and you're managing yourself, right? And a lot of it is just managing ourselves. If we can manage ourselves, then the rest can, work itself out. And I love how you gave tips about like, there's way to mitigate the risk. I mean, if Becky and I would have kept at the rate when we started out trading our personal accounts, we learned options too and lost a lot of money there. If there'd be a market mamas.
Yeah.
Are ways to do it, to continue to invest in your education, your skill set, but do it safely in a way that, you're not, because we have families too who are depending on us. So, just really good advice and solid, tips you're giving everyone. Give the audience, shout out your Instagram, how they could contact you, how they could learn more from you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. So my Instagram is at 2legittrades, just like that, at 2legittrades, where you can contact me. I offer courses where I teach you how to day trade and become profitable. And so I'll give you the whole blueprint, but I'll teach you, because I heard this quote one time. It said, you can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, but if you teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And so that quote really stood out to me, and that really kind of like made me want to take trading like to the next level, because I didn't want to just get all the answers and like copy someone what their trade they're doing. I actually wanted to learn it, and so that quote really helped me. But yeah, I know that's kind of more, but that's where you could like find me at.
I love that. It's like you
Yeah.
can tell that you really are in trading because you loved it and you spent the time and you've put in the work. And now you have a community and a page and are teaching because you want to give back. It's all the good energy kind of vibe that we are totally about. You put forth a lot of effort. And so now you want to pay it forward. And that's beautiful. It's wonderful. We're fully supportive.
Yeah, right on.
Strong
Cool.
work.
Yeah. And so we'll definitely put your contact information in our description for the video as well. So everyone look out for that. Definitely go and follow Isaac, learn more from him, and watch his journey and his profitable system that he's trading. We'll be back with another episode next week. Thank you all for joining us, and our best trading days are ahead. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Brandon.